Oh, okay, so you, obviously, anybody that wants to sign up can go down to the museum any of those weekends to sign up to have Santa Claus come to your house,
Yep.
okay, Christmas Eve. Some of the other things that you guys do, I think you guys also do some plant sales, correct?
Yeah, we do a plant sale for Easter, and it's right there at the museum, right out front, and that's a good fundraiser. And you know, it's nice to do for the community. At least you can kind of stay in town and get some plants for your mother. Or
Sure. And I know you guys produce an awesome calendar every year of all of the antique fire trucks.
Yep, we have the calendars at the museum right now, and that actually Engine 5 is January's picture.
Okay.
And the back of the calendar this year is in memory of Bob Baines.
Okay,
my
yeah.
uncle, and so there's a nice little tribute to him in there. But yeah, it's great to see. Basically, it's kind of like a lottery as far as getting the members getting their fire trucks in, and you know, we've taken some pictures. You'll notice this year my brother took a picture of Sal Petrozello's fire truck in front of Cox Falls.
Yeah, yeah.
And then your brother's is
My brother's is in there,
this year, and
He only has 4, you know, I think he's down one.
he's behind some of the other guys. There's some other guys that have a lot more than him.
Yeah, as far as that goes. But again, it's, you know, I call them the big boys with the big toys,
Yep.
and so forth. So that's great, Michael. We're going to open up the phone lines at the last segment of the show here. So if you have any questions about the Cellar Savers organization, the train display, the number is going to be up on your screen, 613-3031, and it's, again, we're live here at the Comcast studio. Right now, I think what we're going to do is, as I mentioned at the onset of the show, we were fortunate enough to secure an interview with a legendary songwriter, singer, okay, the legendary Randy Newman, who is basically wrote all of the music score for Toy Stories 1, 2, and 3, Monsters, Inc., Cars. He also wrote the theme from, he wrote the music for Meet the Fockers. He also wrote the theme from Monk and so forth, but he was actually at Homecoming at Wesleyan University this past month. His son is actually a sophomore at Wesleyan, and he was gracious enough to grant us an interview, and he was unbelievably gracious and so forth. So we hope you enjoy the interview. And again, this is the legendary singer-songwriter Randy Newman. For those of you who remember Short People off his Criminal Minds album, and he wrote many music scores. So we're going to air that interview right now. It's the first time it's being seen. So this was filmed at Wesleyan University in the Psi Epsilon fraternity house. So we're going to turn it back to the control room and Mr. Randy Newman. Randy, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule and just, again, giving it a little background.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Our Portland on the Move show is a small town show, and you know, that we involve our students at Portland High School, and they certainly do appreciate your time. You know, just going and looking at some of your discotomy and as far as your songs, a lot of your songs are about Americana. What inspires you about?
Well, apparently it interests me. Years ago, I wondered to myself whether why a songwriter couldn't have the same latitude that a short story writer would have. Say, you know, do we have to be in our songs? Or, I'm still not sure of the answer, but what I chose to do was write sometimes in character and about bigger subjects. Nothing's bigger than love, but that's what 95% of the repertory is.
Sure.
And I was doing that and was interested in doing other things.
Now, getting into, now you're into a lot of the film scoring and so forth, and I understand, and doing a little research, some of your relatives were into, your uncle?
Oh, they were, yeah.
Were into film scoring. Did that play an important part in
Yeah,
going in that
so.
direction?
I think, when go on the sound stage and when I was 5, 6 years old and see my uncle conducting, doing All About Eve or, well, later How the West Was Won, and it had an influence on me. I mean, it looked like a job that I could recognize and maybe aspire to. It looked difficult, and it proved to be. But I mean, I guess if I'd been asked when I was 11 what you thought you'd do, it would be write music for motion pictures.
That's a great thing. It is a great thing. Well, I mean, just going through your list of accolades and so forth. Academy Awards and Oscar 16 Oscar nominations. That's huge.
20 now.
20 now. Oh my gosh, my
I had 16 without winning. It was like
oh god,
it's a record.
Unbelievable. And going back, and I think when I first did it, and I just turned the big 6-0, so
Yeah.
it's like going back. I used to play the Catskill resorts and so forth, and I used to cover a lot of your tunes and so forth. And one of the ones, obviously off your, I think it was a Little Criminal album, The Short People.
Yeah.
What inspired that song?
To tell you the truth, I needed an up song. I needed an up-tempo song for the album. I mean, I was ballad heavy on it or something. So
Yeah.
I just started playing that. I don't know whether you got a mic on. And that's what came out. I tell you the truth, I had no idea. It always seemed to me like just a sort of a ridiculous kind of phobia to have, or whatever the hell the guy in the song had. I mean,
Right.
I never thought anyone didn't think it would be a hit, and I never thought anyone would take it seriously.
And I think in looking at the reviews on the album, I think that's what everybody thought, and lo and behold, that's the song that took off, and that was probably received a lot of airplay. In all your accolades, I know you just received your Star of Fame out in L.A. and so forth, and that is huge. Out of all your accolades, what ones do you treasure the most?
Well, it's not anything tangible you can hold in your hand, but what I have is the respect of the orchestra. I grew up around them, and they respect me as a composer, and that has always meant a great deal to me.
That's huge.
Maybe too much, but I love musicians, and the fact that some of the best players in the world certainly out
absolutely.
there. And the fact that I'm able to be up there with them making music.
Yeah.
It may sound like kind of a bromide, but I mean, it's a fact for me.
Well, look at the artists that you've written songs for and so forth. The list goes on and on. But out of all of the artists and all the songs that you've written, what version or what's your favorite version of the
someone
song,
else's
of the songs that they cover for you?
Well, it's sometimes stuff I've written for that purpose. The Sarah McLachlan thing in Toy Story 2. It's not the song, but it turned out well. Joe Cocker's always done them very well.
Yeah.
Linda Ronstadt. Tom Jones. Both those records of You Leave Your Hat On, are good.
Yeah, that Leave Your Hat On. That's an awesome song. That is an awesome song.
Again, it's a case of. The thing with Short People, I think the reason it caused controversy is because it was such a big hit, and people aren't used to hearing on the radio irony, if that's what you'd call it, in that words mean other than what their primary meaning is.
Right.
It's not, and admittedly, if I were driving 70 miles an hour on the freeway and someone's being ironic, God knows if I get it.
Now, when do you find songwriters have their own habits that they get in when they feel something coming on.
Yeah.
I mean, when is probably your most productive time, at night, or when you when ideas come to you?
You know, I have to work at it like a job and go in,
Yeah.
and it's not waiting for something to happen exactly, but
Yeah.
there's too much of that in it for my comfort. You know,
Yeah.
it's like you don't exactly know how you do it. It's hard to be confident you can
Sure.
do it again. But I mean, my advice, I talked to some music students last night. And it's, again, a stereotype, but you show up every day.
Right.
And something good will happen. You do long enough.
Yeah. Now, do you when you write a song, do you write around a melody, or do you write around words, or sometimes both? You know.
Very often both at the same time.
Okay.
But almost always some kind of musical thing
Okay.
will inspire where the lyrics going.
So, what's in the pipeline now?
I'm working on a musical. I'm not sure it's official yet, so I can't
Oh, okay.
talk about. But collaborating with other people, which I've never done really. And it's a different experience.
So, I mean, Toy Story obviously was huge. I mean, the kids love it, and so forth. Now, how long did that project take you?
You usually get, those are a little longer. You get 10 weeks, maybe on that 12 weeks. It's the time's shortening up. There's less time now. I mean, I think the last one I did was, I don't know, Cars. But it's less time, but scoring a picture sometimes 8 weeks, 10 weeks.
Okay.
A little more on the animated.
Wow. Now, primarily, now you're on the West Coast, spending.
Yeah.
I know you've got some stuff happening in New York while you're out on the East Coast.
Yeah, a little work. Yeah,
And so forth, and that's great. Well, I appreciate your time.
Oh, it's a great pleasure.
And you know, just to have.
What town? The Portland High's in
Portland on
Middleton?
High. Portland High is actually right across the river, and so forth. They have a great music program, and so forth. And it's a small high school, and it's the total high school is about a population of about 360 students, but they have a tremendous music program. And I told our band teacher I had the opportunity that we thought that this was going to happen, and she was so excited. And you know, as far as writing goes, do you embrace a lot of the new technologies as far as Pro Tools and you have Finale? Do you?
I've got it.
You got it.
But
Okay.
I'm not adept with it. I mean, it's a mistake I've made. There's no way film composers can exist without it now. I mean, Johnny Williams doesn't do it. I don't much, except if I have to do a mock-up, I get help to do it.
Right.
But it's over. You know, directors now can want an accurate picture of what they're going to hear. They don't want to be surprised. You know?
Exactly. Well, you're the old-fashioned pen and paper guys.
Yes.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
No, there's nothing wrong with it. It used to be the other one. My uncle, my three uncles did it, Emil, Lionel, and Alfred. That Lionel used to sit around and talk about guys who were hummers. That was the expression for them. Guys who really weren't, trained in any sense. So would just an orchestrator would do it. They would say, do this there, do that there, go faster, go slower. Maybe they come up with a tune. But now there's no pejorative meaning to it. It's,
Right.
However they get it up there is fine.